Today we're going to use the Arduino Nano 33 IoT microcontroller to control electronics through Wi-Fi using our IP address. Now by the end of this video you'll be able to control electronics through your web browser using this microcontroller. These are the items that I'm going to use in this video today. I'm going to start off with this MP3 module here. You may have seen this in a previous video. I've had it for quite a while. You just apply 5 volts to it and it will play a short song, a short MP3 file that I have stored on there, and actually it's a rooster, so that's what we've got today. We will be using a 9-volt battery with an adapter for our breadboard power supply. Plug it right in there and make it truly wireless. And we'll also be using this logic level bi-directional 3.3 to 5 volt shifter for the Arduino so that we can operate our electronics, and in our case it'll be this 5 volt MP3 player module. Well, here's the Arduino that we'll be using, and some things to point out about this. It has the always-on 3D accelerometer and 3D gyroscope, which is pretty neat. We'll be exploring that in some future videos. This module also has the Cortex M0 Plus SAMD21 processor. It also has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth that operate on 2.4 GHz, and that's based on the ESP32. Some of you may be familiar with that. It also has a crypto chip, which can allow you to securely store certificates and pre-shared keys, so that's an option as well. Now this board works on a 3.3 volt logic and is not viewed as a full replacement of the original Nano, but mostly for basic IoT application scenarios using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, and some people also use it for running machine learning algorithms. This has a number of interfaces including SPI, I2C, and UART. You can supply power to the board using the micro USB at 5 volts, or you can also use the VIN pin, and with that pin you can use between 4.5 and 21 volts. It also has 14 digital pins, 6 pulse width modulation pins, and 8 analog pins. Next thing we'll do is take a look at our 3.3 volt to 5 volt shifter. Now this bottom area here that says L, that's the lower voltage, that's 3.3 volt, and it's connected to my 3.3 volt rail, which over here you can see the jumper pack is put on 3.3 volt and not the 5 volt. Over here I've got a 5 volt rail, and this H on my shifter here is the 5 volt side, and this is the 5 volt rail, and you can see that I have the jumper pack on the 5 volt side of my power supply. So the way you use this is you power the bottom part, the LV and ground, by using the 3.3 volt rail, and then you power the top side, the 5 volt side, the HV and ground, by using the 5 volt rail. And remember, our board over here operates on 3.3 volts, our GPIO pins. So we're going to connect our pin to the low side over here, our 3.3 volt side, and we're going to step it up to 5 volts. And from there we can connect it to our 5 volt MP3 module. The next thing we'll do is hook up our MP3 player board. I bought this off Amazon some time ago. This is the 5 volt wire, and this is the ground wire to the board. And these two wires right here used to go to a button, but I cut them off. And if you want to see that original video that I did using this board, check the description below. I'll leave a link. Let's go ahead and get this circuit connected so that we can get this up and running. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and connect my MP3 player board to the 5 volt rail up here. The VCC wire here, I'm going to connect it to the 5 volt rail, and then connect my black cord here to the ground. And the next thing I'm going to do is connect pin 9 of my Arduino to L1. Remember, that's a 3 volt side of my shifter, and unfortunately we don't have pin numbers on the top of this board. They are located on the bottom, which is kind of a pain, but what we do, or what I do, is use a pinout map as a reference. So we know that 4 back from the side here is pin number 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go ahead and connect that to L1 of my shifter. That's the lower voltage, and we want to shift that to 5 volt. So I'm going to take the positive wire of what used to be my button on my MP3 board here, my module. I'm going to connect that to H1. So now it's shifted to 5 volts, and I can actually activate the MP3 player module here. So for now, let's go ahead and connect our Arduino to our computer. That's just a micro USB plugged into my computer here. Let's plug it in, And all we're going to do is simply upload code. We will make a modification to it, but this is really simple. Anybody can do it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is open up Arduino IDE, and the first thing we're going to do is install a library that we need. And we're going to open up the library manager right here. We're going to type in WiFiNINA. Is that how you say it? I don't know. And we're going to install WiFiNINA by Arduino. So install that. Once you do that, you're going to come over here, and once you install WiFiNINA, go ahead and put that file. Make sure that file is in the proper IDE library folder, right? Now go up here to File and go to Examples. Scroll all the way through all your libraries, quite a bit here, and go to the bottom. There it is right there. Go up to Simple Web Server WiFi. So the first thing you're going to see here is the Arduino Secrets tab here, and I like this this idea here because you can type in your Wi-Fi ID and then your Wi-Fi password right here. It just keeps it on this page. So let's go ahead and type in the ID for our Wi-Fi. Type that in there, and then come down here and we're going to type in our password for our Wi-Fi. After you've done that, click on this tab here and scroll down, and we're going to include integer MP3. Make sure you type a 3 there. I'm going to copy this. Equals 9, right? And then scroll down to line 104. We are going to highlight this and not call it LED built-in. We're going to call it MP3 because this the library does work off the built-in LED on your board. So we're just going to rename it MP3 so it's less confusing, hopefully. And then we're going to change this to low and change this to high. Make sure they're capital. Let's go back up here to change the HTML code because it won't make much sense for it to turn the LED on when I don't have an LED. I'm using an MP3 player. So let's change that to MP3 player. Let's turn the MP3 player on. And that is on lines 88 and 89. Now let's do the same for line 89. Let's make it say turn the MP3 player off. And now it's time to upload the code to our board. So click on the drop down menu up top and you select your board up here. So over here you make sure you select the Arduino Nano 33 IoT, and I don't have mine plugged in yet. Let's plug it in. Alright, plug in your board. Now we can select the serial port, select OK, and now we're going to upload it to our board. Now by the time you reach this step, make sure that you have your Wi-Fi password and ID plugged into Arduino Secrets tab. Alright, it looks like we're done uploading. Next thing we're going to do is open up a web browser. Now that it has uploaded to your board, what we're going to do is unplug our board. We don't need this anymore. After I unplug the USB from my board, I'm going to plug in my breadboard power supply so that I can have 5 volts to the top, 3 volts to the bottom rail here, and provide power to the board when I'm ready. I'm going to hold off on the battery for just a minute. Now the next thing I need to do is find my IP address for my Arduino board. Now if you don't know how to do that, the easiest way to do that is to log into your router. So if you have a TP-Link router, what you're going to do is go to tplinkwifi.net/webpages/login.html, and you're going to type in your password to log in. Now once you log in, you're going to click on Wireless Clients. You scroll down here and we can see Arduino, and right next to that it gives you the IP address and even the MAC address if you ever happen to need that. If you have another router, you can find out how to log into that router probably through a YouTube video would probably be sufficient, or a video on their website. On the web browser, you're going to type in the IP address for the Arduino board we just found, /L. Now whenever I click this button, it's going to turn it off. This button will turn it on. And when I turn it on, you're going to hear a rooster. That is the MP3 I have loaded. I don't know why I picked the rooster, but... With this particular MP3 player module I bought off Amazon, I can put one MP3 on there that is roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes long. And we'll turn it back on. Well, this is how you control a 5-volt electronic item with low current. This MP3 player module is probably 100, 200 milliamp at most, and it's a safe item to plug directly into your breadboard. It's under an amp, so that's good. But check out our next video where we use the same setup and connect 5-volt electronics with higher amperage to maybe even 3 amps. So that'll be coming soon. I hope you check it out. Well, that was pretty cool. I hope this information was useful to you. Don't forget to share it, like it, and subscribe if you're interested in stuff like this. I'll have more videos on the way. I do appreciate you watching, and I'll see you again very soon.